Greetings comic lovers and welcome back to Casually Comics, the channel where we chat all things comics, from reviews of comics new and old to history to anecdotes to really wherever our whims take us. I'm Sasha and let's talk about being a beginner for a second. Everybody starts somewhere, and with a medium as big and long-lived as comics, it can be a bit daunting trying to figure out just exactly where you want to dip your toe in. Add to that the fact that canons are changing and some things that were once really important now just never happened, it can be a bit complicated. And sometimes you just don't want to ask the question, or you don't want to look it up, you're just not in the mood. Some of you have been asking me for reading lists, recommendations of where to start, which my mind took and ran with and went, what if we reviewed must-read issues, or what people say are must-reads? That way, if it sounds interesting, you can hop off and check it out for yourself, and of course, come back to finish it up for the experience. You'll be back for fun, sass, and salt. Most likely salt. So which comic are we going to start with? Well, Batman Hush. We've briefly touched on this arc because it's integral to Jason's resurrection, and well, we've covered that from almost all angles. Also, this was the first trade I bought with my own money. It was when I started university. Who needs to eat when there's Batman to read? Still me. I saved money so I could eat and relax. So we're gonna look at this Hush arc because, well, I think it's a solid jumping on point for Batman and easing in despite how much is going on and how many people appear. Others agree, and some have come to feel that this comic is overrated. It was adapted into a DC Animated Universe original film in 2019, and some pretty big changes were made, again with polarizing results. So let's get started, but before we do, please hit that subscribe button. You know you want to. Treat yourself. So Batman Hush is a collection of an arc that ran in the Batman comic series from October of 2002 to September of 2003. It's always important to lay stuff like that out because it does impact how this work would have initially been read. Also, there is some promotional push for this one too. When you get a work collected in trade, you do miss some of the suspense and also guesswork, time, and room fans who were reading it as it was released would have had. They're not better or worse reading experiences, they're just different. Sometimes you might prefer one, sometimes you might prefer the other. You know, different strokes for different folks. This arc was written by Jeff Loeb with art by Jim Lee, and this art, let me tell you, it's gorgeous, and it's definitely part of what drew people to this arc. Issue 1 of 12, go! For a series that would come to such renown, this cover sure is a cover. It's nicely drawn, but a kick, as dynamic as they are with no clear target, can always end up looking a little static or overly posed. Although, at least depending upon how you were holding it, it could look like he was coming to kick you. Interactive, who needs 3D? That's Batman's boot, and a nice boot it is. We open on intense internal monologue narration. Loeb loves to have his protagonists monologue in their narration boxes. He's also the one who writes the first Batman/Superman 2003 series, the team-up comic arc, Public Enemies. And he has these inadvertently really shippy narration boxes where the two of them are completing each other's thoughts and sentences. It's really great. And this technique works well when the boxes are in tone, which for the most part here they are. Batman is looking to resolve a hostage situation, and as he makes his way into the shipyard, he takes out goons, while kindly telling us who they are. This serves to personalize what's happening, but also lets us know that Batman is prepared. He's been investigating this. He did his homework. No shirking for Bruce. Alfred won't let him.
Someone spent a lot of money assembling this crew, but as Bruce Wayne will attest, you have to spend money to make money.
So this version of Batman isn't full into Bruce is just a mask that he wears territory. Batman is the real person. Now this is somewhere in between. It's more that the version of Bruce Wayne that he presents to the public is a persona, just as part of Batman is a persona, and the real person lies somewhere in between. Think of it as like Bruce Wayne, Bruce, Batman, Bruce real person. Other two personas. 5 pages in, we get our title, The Ransom. Was it worth the wait? You decide. I actually really like how these covers are laid out. Look at all the credit names laid into the wall like that. Love it. Batman rescues the young boy being held for ransom and then just randomly starts thinking about Clark, because why not? There are reasons. They're narratively for context, but in my head it put me straight on the next boat to Shiptown. I'm a regular there. I have a season pass.
It makes me think about Clark, how he'd handle this situation. Clark would smile the Boy Scout thing and then say something homespun to put the boy at ease. But this boy doesn't have Clark. He has me in my city. Gotham City, it is better this way.
Bruce, firstly, thank you for telling us where you are, just for the uninitiated, and that's not sarcastic or sardonic or facetious or anything, it's good to know. But 2, you could also just ask this boy who he'd rather be saved by and whose quips he'd rather listen to, but I'm not sure if you'd like the answer. So let's just go with your reasoning. It's better that way. Suddenly he's attacked by Killer Croc, who had abducted the boy in the first place. Edward Lamont IV, heir to the Lamont chemical fortune. If you're the heir to anything, anything. I don't care if it's a tuna sandwich and you live in Gotham, you need to leave. Batman, however, is perplexed by all of this because kidnapping isn't really Killer Croc's usual MO. Also, this one was planned out. There was a lot of money put into it. The way the ransom was set up was actually clever. So he feels this is just too much for Croc and that he's not smart enough to pull this off. Also, he notes that Croc appears much more mutated than he normally is. He's more feral than usual.
Someone else had a hand in this.
Batman manages to separate Croc from the ransom. $10 million, by the way.
What Croc has in strength and speed, he lacks in other areas.
Harsh. Batman is mean. This is why he's quiet. They couldn't handle all the brutal sass going on in his head. Also, remember the Golden Age? Sometimes it came out and it wasn't that articulate. Hi Ugly is still a highlight for me. Batman defeats him with hypersonics. Yeah!
Edward, be quiet.
I bet he wishes he'd been rescued by Superman now. The FBI show up late only to note that the money is gone.
During the fight, someone else took it.
That's impossible. No one could have gotten through our perimeter.
I did.
2002 Batman is on fire. He's got the sick burns. Batman had spotted the thief, and it's Catwoman, and this also throws him off because Selina of late seems to be trying to go on a more law-abiding path than usual. And even when she does steal, it tends to be her own thing. She's not there to pick up other people's scores, not unless they're there trying to get the same thing because the themes overlap or something. Like The View? It's about the only thing you're gonna catch tonight. That's a good line. It's flirty, but threatening. They adapted it in the animated version, which was again, both extremely loyal in some areas and yet not in others. Batman gets ready to engage in a good old-fashioned game of bat and cat, and that joke is bad and I should feel bad, but I don't. However, suddenly his bat rope is cut and he plummets downwards. He breaks his shoulder on the way down when he attempts to grab onto a statue as the comic decides to acknowledge that if you grabbed onto anything while you were falling, that would also injure you. Bruce falls, hurt and dazed, well, out cold really, into an alley, where of course Gotham's lowlife await. Catwoman, for her part, turns around and is very much in the mind of, oh, where'd Batman go? She continues on to her destination with the money, and we get some nice subtle hints as to who she is bringing it to. For example, the balcony, the entire floor covered in leaves, and there are some vines at the edges of the panels. Now, bring me the money. That's it. You know you can't resist me. No man or woman can. This is a very lovingly drawn Poison Ivy, isn't it? Now, I'm not sure what you're all looking at, but for me it's little bundles of money in her hair that are being carried by the vines that are intertwined there. It's a nice little detail that I appreciate. Also, that whip belt looks inconvenient. Personally, I love this panel, and it's what I like to call tasteful cheesecake, in that yes, it's there, but the way the panels are situated allow for it to make sense. We saw Catwoman walking up towards Poison Ivy, so the fact that that panel is laid out that way makes sense. It's also not the focal point because your eye is still supposed to be drawn to Poison Ivy, who is over there by the fireplace mantle edge area. Also, Poison Ivy is Poison Ivy. There's a lot going on there. The naturalism, the whole Adam and Eve thing. These last panels begin to showcase some of the appeal of this series. And no, it's not just the cheesecake. Even if you cut yourself a little slice, it's fine. But also what we're seeing here is that this story is going to be big in scope, and it's going to feature a lot of Batman's rogues. This story has already featured 3, and it's made references to other people in the Batman mythos, and just the DC mythos in general. So that was issue 1, and it sets the tone. You have an action-packed yet also thoughtful Batman still in detective mode. You have gorgeous art, and you have appearances, as I mentioned, from multiple members of his rogues gallery. It promises a tangled and interconnected plot. Plus, he was left in peril. It's a solid start, and back in the day, people thought so too. It ranked first on the top 300 comics for October, its release month. So how do you feel? Are you intrigued? Do you like the art? Would you rather be rescued by Bruce or Clark, or would it depend? Answer all of that down below. Thanks so much for watching Casually Comics. Please do all of the YouTube things. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so that you never miss a vid. I'm Sasha, and I will, as always, see you again soon. Bye-bye.